What to do in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Both a town and borough, Gettysburg in the south of Pennsylvania is known for one thing and one thing only: its big and bloody battlefield. Now preserved as the Gettysburg National Military Park, it has myriad monuments, memorials and museums for visitors to check out. While most things to do in Gettysburg relate to the Civil War, there are also some great shops and restaurants to try out in its lovely little downtown. 10. Seminary Ridge Museum. On the western outskirts of town is the exceptional Seminary Ridge Museum that occupies a huge part of Schmucker Hall. Aside from focusing on the first day of the battle, the artifacts and exhibits look at moral questions from the Civil War era. Originally built in 1832 for the Lutheran Theological Seminary, the refined building acted as both a field hospital and observation post during the war. In its galleries, you see how patients were cared for and learn about the raging battle's impact on the town and its people. 9. Gettysburg Museum of History. Literally jam-packed with amazing old artifacts is the incredible Gettysburg Museum of History. As well as the Battle of Gettysburg, its ever-growing collection covers ancient civilizations, American wars and U.S. presidents. Founded in 2009, the museum's cluttered rooms and all its eclectic items lie just a short stroll from the center. Due to the extensive number of relics and exhibits, wandering around the museum really is a fun and fascinating experience. 8. Jennie Wade House. Walk just a bit further down the same street and you'll come across the Jennie Wade House near the entrance to the cemetery. Dedicated to Gettysburg's only civilian casualty of the battle, it also looks at domestic life during the Civil War. Now preserved as a historic house museum, its small rooms are home to original furnishings, period pieces and informative displays. 7. Downtown Gettysburg. Despite its smallish size, downtown Gettysburg is a very pleasant place to explore with a lot to see and do. Set right in the heart of town, its quiet yet charming streets are lined by countless shops and local restaurants. While many establishments and eateries border both sides of its main street, Lincoln Square acts as the attractive area's undisputed center. On top of all its enticing attractions, downtown has a wealth of unique boutiques and chain stores to peruse. 6. Sachs Covered Bridge. Just 10 minutes drive to the southwest is the Sachs Covered Bridge, one of the most photographed landmarks in the region. Spanning the tranquil Marsh Creek, its brilliantly bright red exterior stands out delightfully against all the lush foliage and trees around it. Used by both Union and Confederate armies during the Civil War, the picturesque bridge was built around 1854. Renovated and remodeled several times over the years, it sports a terrific town truss style and stretches 100 feet in length. 5. Devil's Den. Not far from Little Round Top on the battlefield is another remarkable rock formation for visitors to clamber about. Known as the Devil's Den, the hill has hulking great boulders to explore with cannons, memorials and walkways being dotted about. During the Battle of Gettysburg, both artillery and infantry used the gigantic rocks as cover as they honed in on targets. Nowadays, you can walk between the boulders, read informative plaques and learn more about how the battle played out. 4. Shriver House Museum. Lying along the road leading to both the battlefield and cemetery you can find the excellent Shriver House Museum. It too explores the civilian experience of the Civil War with its very well-preserved interior housing authentic furnishings and period pieces. On tours around the museum, costumed guides transport you back in time to the tumultuous era and explain how civilians used to live. While exploring its rooms, you'll see old clothes, children's toys and everyday items as well as the blood-stained sharpshooter's nest in the attic. 3. Eisenhower National Historic Site. One of the few sites unrelated to the Civil War is the Eisenhower National Historic Site not far from the Sachs Covered Bridge. The former home and farm of America's 34th president, its green grounds and massive main house really are a treat to tour around. After having explored the huge house full of original artifacts and exhibits on their lives, guests can amble around the farm's paddocks, outbuildings and reception center. 2. Park Museum and Visitor Center. An absolutely unmissable part of visiting Gettysburg is obviously exploring its expansive battlefield and seeing its many moving monuments. Providing some much-needed context and insight into the hugely influential battle, is the phenomenal Park Museum and Visitor Center. Within its extensive galleries, you can see everything from cannons and uniforms to firearms, photos and videos on the Civil War. These explain the conflict's causes, key moments and how it turned the course of the war in favor of the North. 1. Gettysburg National Military Park. As about 1,400 monuments and statues now dot the battlefield, It could take days if not weeks to see all of the Gettysburg National Military Park. One of Pennsylvania's most popular places to visit, the park tells the story of one of the bloodiest and most important battles in American history. As you stroll about its forests and fields, you'll gain a greater understanding of the largest land battle ever fought in North America.